Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson. Tonight, it's Monday. We just had a vacation, so we're trying to think a little more broadly about what's happening in this world. Here's what we've come up with. If you had to boil down the Democratic Party's long-term goals to the most important goals, the first would be this, and it's obvious. The federal government ought to cover the essentials of life for most people. Health care, college, housing, food, in some cases a guaranteed basic income. That's the program the Democrats espouse. Another word for it might be socialism. The party's other long-term goal is the elimination of meaningful restrictions on immigration into this country. Get rid of ICE, accept most refugees, give citizenship to tens of millions of people here illegally. In other words, open borders. So those are the Democrats' main priorities, a massive social welfare state and millions of new citizens from the third world. Nobody is hiding that. We're not making it up. They're saying it out loud. The problem is that those two goals conflict with each other. You can either admit the world's poor into your country, or you can give your own people more free stuff, but you can't do both. The math doesn't work. Socialism with open borders is impossible. It has never worked, and it never will work. Anyone who thinks about that for about a minute understands it. So the idea is fatally flawed. The question is, how do you sell a program that can never actually work? Well, you lie about it. You pretend that what's obviously true isn't true at all, and you're evil for thinking otherwise. And of course, that's exactly what they're doing now. Watch DNC spokesman Jim Acosta from earlier this month scold the president for daring to suggest that migrants from the imaginary caravan, should it actually exist, might try to hop the U.S. border.
Your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
Well, that's true.
But
they weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood.
They're not going to be doing that, says Democratic flack Jim Acosta. Turns out that's precisely what they're going to be doing, and just did over the weekend. American authorities had to shut down the border crossing at San Ysidro, California, right next to San Diego, after about 1,000 people tried to rush the crossing. Watch. So that's what the DNC channels told us was never going to happen. And of course, it did happen, and it was bad. Mexican riot police and U.S. border agents both came under attack from the mob, which threw rocks at them. With no meaningful wall along the borders, authorities used tear gas to disperse the crowd. Now, there's fairly recent precedent for doing that. In 2013, a group of about 100 people tried to rush the very same border crossing at San Ysidro. American authorities forced them back with pepper spray. Barack Obama was president at the time, and the incident passed with little notice. Just 5 years later, there's a new president and an entirely different standard. The left erupted at these pictures of the tear gas and accused the administration of moral atrocities. Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz got so worked up, he suggested that American authorities had committed a war crime by using illegal chemical weapons. Keep in mind, these same so-called chemical weapons are used against unruly American citizens all the time, and nobody cares. But those weren't American citizens you just saw getting tear gassed over the weekend. They were migrants. They were holy men on a sacred pilgrimage north. What happened to them was inexcusable. Cue the moral outrage.
Here we look at children being subjected to tear gas. That's the United States causing that. That's outrageous.
We have seen the images of the children and the women, and there has got to be a pragmatic and compassionate answer here that does not involve tear gassing children. That is not who America is.
That's not what America is, declares some random blowhard on CNN who has somehow been deputized to lecture you about what America is. On the left, America is always one thing for sure, in every case, wrong. Watch as this MSNBC guest suggests that federal Border Patrol agents must have been lying about being attacked with rocks.
There's also questions whether or not anyone actually threw rocks yesterday. NPR was reporting that actually it was relatively peaceful.
Yep, relatively peaceful, except for this scene, which somehow didn't make it into many news reports. So, well, yes, it turns out they were, in fact, throwing rocks, but according to a lot of the analysis you may have seen today, it was in a peaceful way. gentle rock throwing, really more tossing than throwing, playful, actually. Now, here's a different perspective. This is from someone who was actually there in San Ysidro, and in contrast to the people you just saw, is not a professional propagandist.
I kind of challenged that this was a peaceful protest, or that the majority of these people were claiming asylum. We ended up making about 42 arrests. Only 8 of those were females, and there were only a few children involved. The vast majority of the people we're dealing with are adult males. One of the groups that I watched, one of the groups that actually several of them were arrested, they passed 10 or 15 marked Border Patrol units walking east to west, or west to east, I'm sorry. Numerous uniformed personnel as they were chanting, waving a Honduran flag, and throwing rocks at the agents. If they were truly asylum seekers, they would have just walked up with their hands up and surrendered, and that did not take place. What I find unconscionable is that people would intentionally take children into this situation. What we saw over and over yesterday was that the group, the caravan, as we call them, would push women and children towards the front and then begin basically rocking our agents.
So there you have it. We'll let you reach your own conclusions about who is telling the truth about what's happening right now on our southern border. Check the video before you make up your mind. But as you ponder it, step back and ask yourself some more fundamental questions. Is there a natural limit to this kind of immigration? How many resources does America really have to share with the rest of the world? Are we as rich as we assume we are? Are you? How many poor people can we realistically accept before we're not that rich at all, but increasingly resemble the countries from which these people are fleeing? And by the way, if accepting more poor people really makes you more prosperous, then what exactly has happened in California over the past 30 years, which, despite record levels of immigration, is poorer than ever? Now, it's possible there are good answers to these questions, logical answers. On the other hand, if there are answers, why is the left trying to prevent you from asking the questions?